Emotional intelligence in the workplace, what leaders need to know. Hi, I'm Ron with Lead Skill. We help leaders of small companies and teams think big and get better results through people. Today we're talking about emotional intelligence in the workplace and why it's so important not just to understand it, but actually be able to manage it. So let's back up a little bit. If we want to talk about intelligence, and IQ is generally the measure that people think of to measure intelligence, what is that actually looking at? Well, a person's intelligence could be represented by how much they know. So it's knowledge, but it's also the ability to reason, to think through problems, to bring that knowledge and reasoning to bear on daily problems. So someone with a high IQ, we would expect that they have better insights. They can see through to the root of what's going on. They understand situations. They can solve problems. At least we hope so. If we use the analogy from IQ and then say there's something more than just our cognitive ability or our knowledge, there's something else that works toward our success, and that's actually emotional intelligence. And this has been researched for several decades now. One of the people who most popularized the idea is Daniel Goleman in the 90s. He came out with a book called Emotional Intelligence and Why It's So Important. Followed that up a couple years later with working with emotional intelligence, talking about how it applies in the workplace. So leaders really need to understand more about emotional intelligence. It involves things like self-awareness, knowing what I'm feeling myself, as well as social awareness and tuning into other people, having empathy, being able to read emotions, and then also how to respond to people more effectively, interpersonal skills, dealing with motivation, being able to not just be aware of myself, but control myself. All of these are aspects of emotional intelligence that leaders really have to pay attention to. And not just for themselves. Great leaders actually manage emotions in the workplace and help others. They lead others in the process so that they can better manage their emotions. In the workplace, we're dealing with a lot of things today like stress, motivation, conflict, emotions that come up in the natural course of our work. So what leaders do is they develop more emotional capability in their companies, in their organizations, how we deal with customers, how we deal with each other, how we address the public. All of these are areas that are critical for having good emotional intelligence. So 3 things, and maybe with a bonus thrown in at the end, that leaders really need to think about in terms of emotional intelligence. The first thing is they need to make it discussable or visible. Make emotions something that we talk about, something that we are able to identify, and we can actually discuss it out in the open. We can measure it. That's really the second thing. Once we make it visible and discussable, the second thing is we measure it. We need to give it some sort of quantity. In business, we have no problem quantifying other things, whether it's finances or production. When it comes to people, in the personal terms, though, we often think that these things really can't be measured, when in fact they can. So we do need to measure and work with our emotions more intelligently. The third thing is we need to manage our emotions. And great leaders really lead people in this whole process of how do we manage our emotions in the workplace so that we can be more productive, so we can get things done, so we all enjoy our work and we have a great place where people look forward to coming to work each day and getting things done and contributing to their life as well as their communities. Now, really great leaders, besides managing emotions, take this a step further and they work on mastering emotions. Now, that is not something you do overnight or quickly. That involves working with it and taking time, using resources in order to really get good at it. But like anything else in business, the things that we really work on day in, day out, that we practice, that we get really good at, not just passable, not just competent, but really master, those are the things that we have a competitive advantage in, and that we can actually differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. So I want to encourage you as a leader to think more about how you can become emotionally intelligent yourself, and also lead others around you to have better emotional intelligence. So let's make it discussable, let's measure it, and then let's manage it. If you'd like some more ideas, I've got some other videos in this series that you can watch, and I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and we've got more things coming at you. So we'll talk to you in the next episode.